Hi, everybody. Welcome to the QB School. I'm JT O'Sullivan. Today, the Eagles, Carson Wentz, Doug Pederson, Jalen Hurts, 2-point extravaganza. What happened? We're diving into it. Welcome to the QB School. So I love me some 2-point conversions for a bunch of different reasons. Someone who has a little bit of experience about having a number of 2-point conversion potential play calls, because we almost always go for 2 as a high school program. And so there is, for me, the first thing I thought after I saw so many run was that they probably don't have 4 2-point conversions that they love. And so whether they go back to kind of third and short plays that they love, red zone tight area plays that they love, that's just what happens necessarily when you've ordered everything off the menu. Do you dial it up again, something that you loved? And so there's only so many different ways to go about it. I personally love the aggressiveness. I know the percentages probably say 48-ish, I think is the percentage. Even on the day, they're still above that, going 2 for 4. I know that probably doesn't sit well with Eagles fans, but I still love that element of the game, especially if you feel like you have an advantage and it gives you the best probability to win. Other than that, we're going to talk about the X's and O's of every single one of these, specifically about some of the what I would consider zone read-ish plays that didn't work for them, and then the pass plays that did, and just the mindset as far as what they could have potentially done different. I know it's obviously easy with the clicker, with the marker, the day after to be able to have all these answers, but I do think it's worth paying attention to, because I think sometimes it can be like, the execution of this play wasn't good enough, or they didn't have, 9 of their starters in there. And those are all valid things to state and describe as far as building the context of these plays. But at the end of the day, for me, sometimes it's about giving your players the toolkit to go out there and be able to make the adjustments on the field in real time. And that probably didn't happen on the last one. So let's dive into it. All right, so the first one here, Jalen Hurts going here with this 2-point conversion, what I'm going to call a wide zone read with a little bash. And if that doesn't make sense to you, we'll draw it up. Again, they're going from the middle of the field, which I always think is an interesting play call. But basically, they're just going to read this outside edge player. It's not there. Tight end gets beat across his face. All sorts of bad things happen. This is what I consider the Ravens doing what the Ravens do on defense, which they potentially didn't do the next 2 snaps on these 2-point conversions, and then go back to themselves for the final one. But really, this play is, I don't necessarily love the play design. I'm not going to lie. Obviously, it's easy to say that when it didn't work. But what I don't love about it is the options, or are the options. So really, they're reading this player right here. He is the conflict defender. So what I'm used to calling bash or back away, the different ways you could say it. Technically, it isn't bash here, but the action of bash, meaning this wide zone, we're reading this player, and it's basically an inverted zone read. So Jalen's going to take usually 2 shuffles, and if this player takes away the bash, he's going to pull it, and this looks like, to me, just inside zone to the play side. Usually this is run with more of a power read type vibe, but this is the play. This is really, for the quarterback, that's all the play is. Can he tackle the bash? If he can't tackle the bash, I'm pulling it and getting up the field. Well, that is operating under the assumption that all these dudes up here win. So right here, the tight end, he gets beat across his face. That's a negative, and then we get hit with some exterior edge pressure. So really, again, 2 guys here tackling the quarterback. A little foreshadowing, but different structural errors here, in my opinion. So watching a handful of times, I also don't love the fact that there isn't an option to really throw the ball here for him. Where's he supposed to throw the ball? If I give it, he can play quarterback. Give him some options to throw the ball and more of an RPO. But you can see the tight end beat across his face. That's really the issue. The tight end isn't beat across his face. He's got a chance to get in there. I think 58 probably still makes the tackle, even though he's taking a wide angle like he's going for 2. But again, I would love to see a pass element there. I would love to see the tight end not get beat across his face. But I don't hate the play call. Give it to your edge players on the move with a chance to make a play one more time. Just reading that top edge defender. He can tackle and pull it, go. Well, there's 2 dudes in your face. What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to not get beat across your face at tight end. And then you're supposed to have some sort of pass option here, because if they hit you with 0 in the RPO world for 2-point conversions, even though it's only 2 yards to go, it's really, you got to throw it. If they want to go 0 and dictate what's going to happen, you got to be able to throw it. And that's exactly what they do here the next few times. Right here, this is a prototypical rub route down here to the bottom. This is really Marcus Peters being Marcus Peters for me more than anything else. But nice execution by Carson Wentz. Great job catching, getting in the end zone. Again, I would love to see Ward hit the ball, have the ball hit the pylon, so there's no chance of it getting knocked out or anything like that, but that's just me. Again, great execution, getting on the edge. Again, what you're normally going to get down here, 2-point plays, getting your quarterback on the edge with a little run-pass option. And this is a cool play. They get there a little bit different than most rubs. And so what I mean by that, draw it up here. When I mean Marcus Peters being Marcus Peters, just a bit of a guesser, in my opinion. So right here, this is really the rub. Normally on this play, you'd get 2 picks, and the number 3 would come out to the flat. They kind of mix it up here, and the number 2 ends up getting out to the flat. And why this is kind of better sometimes is because, first of all, it's a little deception built into it. But when he comes in, he's got a better opportunity to just get in there and rub this guy. Now, Marcus Peters is doing whatever this technique is where he tries to get in here and hedge this. So he's basically trying to get in front of the pick. And really what happens is it makes it easier for him to just knock his own guy, his own corner in, and then it makes this guy have to bubble around. So normally the point guy is pressed up on any type of bunch, meaning the guy who's in the bunch here or on the point of the bunch. So when he comes in, Marcus Peters then comes in to try to hedge it and get in front of him. It actually makes it easier because now we just knock Peters and this guy has to run the hump, bubble around, and he's never going to get to that front pylon. So great execution. Still got to be able to throw it, catch it, hook it up. Nice job. Not the easiest throw in the world. But again, I think Marcus Peters kind of gives us 4 points here for the Eagles fans in the next few plays. It's a nice rub. It's an excellent call. Great execution. They make it look easy. That's not the easiest play in the world to run or throw, in my opinion, from gun, moving on an angle, tough angle. But again, you can see what that pick does. So really, it's all about this pick or rub. And if that's not there, you're going to get the number 3 running a corner, potentially. So it's 1 to the flat, 2 to the corner. Flat's there. Get it to him. Nice. So into the third one here. Marcus Peters just loses his mind a little bit. It's a great job by Carson Wentz vision-wise. Again, look, check when they're breaking the huddle there. Got a lot of time, 15 seconds. 2 by 2, we're going to motion in short. We're just going to run a corner with a tailback angle or Texas. And so this ball is normally designed to go to the back. But if you drop the corner, definitely take that. But it's a great job seeing it, vision. Again, I love this design, offensive architecture here as far as giving him a chance to make multiple quick decisions from the pocket. And so it looks like it's a real easy throw. There's nothing easy about it. He does a nice job. Well, there is something easy about it when he's wide open. But to be able to see that, I think, is probably the best part of it. And this is just clownish to me. You can tell. Look at the facial reactions. He's pissed. We're just going to let him stand back there and throw that witch up. He's upset at his defensive line for not getting to him for the play call, but that's on him. There's no way, there's no doubt about it here. And so design-wise, not worrying about what's happening up top. In my opinion, the ball's designed to go here. So how do you get there? You run the number 3 or the number 2 on a little sit, come in here, run this little angle, and then we're coming up to the corner. Well, for some reason, he just loses his mind. Now, it's a little, again, deception here. When you come down here like this, you're usually going to run some sort of crossing route. So he's probably guessing that coming down here. Again, to get this, very rarely would you want to come down in short motion because this guy's usually going to trail outside technique here to then come up and run a corner to win. It just doesn't make intuitive sense. It's counterintuitive to me. But it pops right here because, in my opinion, he would classify as a corner that guesses. And he's guessing right here. And that's just what happens. They do a nice job sorting it out on the back end, take away that halfback Texas, halfback fan with the middle player. But it's a variation of 0. And there it is. I mean, there's just, that technique doesn't exist in the corner world where you just sit 2 yards deep in the end zone and get upset. Some bad ball. Great job by the Eagles being able to take advantage of it. My favorite part of it, personally, was just watching Carson Wentz work through the route. So no to the angle, to the Texas, but he just sees the corner. And that's just too damn easy. All right, halftime. You dig the channel. You haven't already, please subscribe, hit the bell, get the notifications, let you know when we go live, when we put out new content. I appreciate the support for the channel. Then, if you haven't already, please check out the QB School tool. Basically, you put in your 2 best players, you put in what you anticipate for a coverage. It spits out what I think is probably the best play for that situation with that personnel. I think you'll really dig it. It's free. Check it out. It's a little addictive. And finally, the one that everybody's talking about, we'll spend some time talking about. is this idea of exactly what went wrong with this zone read. Now, I think there are a bunch of things that go wrong with this zone read. Go back one more second. We snapped the ball, first of all, at 0. There's at 9 right here, still not quite ready. Motion across, zone read. They've got 2 on the open edge, and that's just a recipe for disaster in zone read world. You got 1 for the dive, 1 for the quarterback, and you just don't have the mathematical advantage at that point. Now, I've seen a bunch of people across different networks talk about what the answers are here. And I think, hearing Doug talk about, them just running out of calls, potentially taking a timeout, all good answers. I think more than anything else, it's this angle right here that we'll talk a lot about. But this idea being that you got to decide what type of zone read this play is. So without being in the room, I can't tell you whether it's we're going to read the defensive end or we're going to read the C-gap player. This is a big difference. So how this is identified is we got the A gap, the B gap. Might as well just draw it there for us. A, B, and C. Now, some teams play zone read differently. So again, let me say this again so this resonates. A, B, C. Are we reading the defensive end as the conflict defender or the C-gap defender as the conflict defender? Because if we're reading the defensive end, this play has no chance. If we're reading the C-gap defender, it's got a baby chance. And so what I mean by that is this whole play, usually on these zone reads for me, are we're trying to read this defender or read a defender on the edge outside the tackle because we want this combination double team. This really drives it vertical down the field. We get inside here and we are reading usually this defensive end. Well, if there are 2 players outside the tackle, you can't run this. Or you have to have what I'm used to calling an out or a push call. So again, don't let me lose you here. This play is meant to get this combination block right here. Back to the front side linebacker. We want to read usually this player. But if there are 2 standing up outside the tackle, that tackle usually makes a push or a wide call. And what that does is it gives you a chance. So if we get a push or a wide call here, we go here. Usually, I know people are upset for this guy not blocking this. That's fantasy land. Coming across, making some sort of different call for this, fantasy land. Now, I don't love the motion. I don't love bringing him across. I think he runs the wrong route. But just as far as the mechanics of the run, again, it's built for this combination right here. But if there are 2 outside the tackle, you have to have some sort of ability to communicate to give yourself a chance because you can't run zone read against 2 guys because they got 1 for the dive, 1 for the quarterback, which is exactly what happens. So again, it should be here, here. Now let's read this guy, and we got a chance. Now we still have an unblocked linebacker, which I get, but at least he's coming from depth from within the end zone, make the back collision for the 2-pointer. So we're going to talk about it again, but I want you all to see it and know exactly what it is. Again, I get it. There's a great double team there. I get it. That guy's a good player. You got to have the toolbox. That's what I'm talking about, toolbox, to be able to let your players make those adjustments at the line of scrimmage. And I get it. It's not everybody who's normally playing in there, but they're pros. They can handle a call when they know that they're responsible for a specific gap. And so that's the part that let me down now. Obviously, didn't love the execution. Don't love people not doing the right thing on the perimeter. Don't love the motion. Don't love the time it took to get the play off. All sorts of bad. But to say that it's, on Carson Wentz for not reading it correctly or what? The other element of this for me, again, so because we're in the wide, we'll talk about this. So this is 5 offensive linemen. That means that there are 6 gaps always. Okay, so we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They got 6 guys at the line of scrimmage. This is the guy we want to leave unblocked. They decide instead to go combo here to here, which normally is fine if this guy isn't a factor. That is how you want to do it. Although I would make the argument that when you bring this tight end in motion, you just bring what? Another dude to the party. So even if they were to block this, how some people want it blocked, this right here, this dude's still unblocked right here. That's not the answer. That's the answer for someone who doesn't understand the run game. So again, one more time. Combo here to here. That's the normal way. But when there are 2 people outside the tackle, so we can't read 2 people for an RPO. Not initially at the line of scrimmage, at least. You have to have some sort of push or out call. So now that combo is no mas, and we go here, and we push out. So if it was here, here, Now we're reading this defender as the zone read, and we are having this guy unblocked. So if you hand it to the back, bro, good luck. Don't stop your feet. Get in the end zone. He's unblocked. That's their decision. They're making this decision because this is 0. And or you have to have a throw. So in my world, if you go 2-point conversion RPO, it's either 0, we're throwing it, or it's coverage, we're going to run it. Well, right here, it's 0. So let's throw it. Right here, they run a little pick wheel. I'm almost positive it's the same thing up here. The tight end just does his own thing. He has no idea what he's doing. So again, these two outside number 1 receivers are doing the same thing. They're coming up, and we're running a little pick wheel. Here, pick wheel, tight end just doesn't do it. So let's watch the wide receivers down here to the bottom to start. Would you make this throw? You know, they pass it off. Peters gets it that time. Up top, the number 1 receiver running a little rub. Tight end doing whatever he's doing there. That ain't it, though. I'll tell you that. Now let's watch that combo block by the offensive lineman. Great double team. In fact, I would argue that he's borderline offsides here. Watch this. He's moving early. So they're obviously locked into the double team. But for me, I would love to see, you know, defensively here. And I apologize for keep stopping this, but it's pissing me off. Defensively here, they've got this guy in this gap, this guy in the B gap. This guy is the C gap player. Well, when this tackle basically deletes the B gap, this defensive end does a great job squeezing it, staying right on his hip, and staying tight. He would, if he gave this opportunity, if this was a pass play, if he was to pass that here, this defensive end would enter the B gap. So you have to have some wherewithal to know. I'm going to guess that he still has B gap responsibility. So this combination really just kills me on this play. I get it that they want the combination, but you got to have the toolkit to be able to be sound in what you're doing. And that's just putting your head down, getting a great double team like you're in minicamp. That's not playing football. We need to have the toolkit to play football. Frustrating, sucks to watch. One more time, again, from this angle, makes it even cleaner. Again, he's obviously moving early too, which is frustrating. But instead of getting that double team, let's just go one-on-one, base block 93, base block 99, take our chances, conflict defendering off 59, 58. So that's the secret. For me, this is the play. I'm going to take one thing away from this video. It's having the ability for this tackle to come off and base block 99 with some sort of call or football IQ or awareness. You can tell he has the B gap by 99 by how he squeezes down on the hip of the tackle. He's not playing the C gap. He's not playing force. Damn. That's just brutal way to lose a game, in my opinion, on so many different levels. One more time all the way through. Now, do it in full speed. Happens pretty fast, and that's an L. So that's it. I really do think you tip your cap a little bit to the Ravens, making adjustments, going 2 for 4. Good day at the plate for both teams, but not going to get it done when you got to win it. And for me, frustrating because you probably exhausted your menu of 2-point plays. So carrying more than 3. And then the idea being that, hey, let's make sure we get something that our guys can do and communicate and have the toolbox to answer, because they're going to come out and be exotic. I think most teams would roll the dice there with pressure on a 2-point conversion to win it. And so, you know, obviously didn't work out. Obviously, you can blame the coaching. You can blame the offensive architecture. You can blame the execution. You can blame the O-line. You can blame the injuries all the way across the board. They still had a chance to win it. They still had a chance to execute it correctly, in my opinion, even though it's not the greatest structural play also. So all those things, tough L. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I appreciate the support. I will see you next time. Have a good one.